Do you feel anger, sadness, fear, loneliness, or guilt? Would not it feel better to feel nothing but bliss? Take Pharmapunk and be free to be happy.
Hello and welcome to What's Up Punk. We're taking a look at the myriad subgenres underneath the umbrella of punk. Today we'll be taking a look at Pharmapunk. Take your state-supplied happy pills now. Or else. What is Pharmapunk? What is the worst part of humanity? Well, humanity, silly. All those chemicals in your brain make you illogical, depressed, could say rowdy. Gosh, that could lead to thoughts of an anti-establishment nature, or worst, a time waster. Instead of improving oneself or in their careers, or servicing the state, their minds would be frittering time away with friendship, or worse, love. It's in the word, illogical. People started off ill and a pharmacracy comes along to make them well.
Your Vicodin? In the bowl next to you. Oh, look at him go.
That's Pharmapunk. Usually because a very bad thing happens that no one should talk about because it would make people remember. Oh, I have to? It's part of the format? Okay. In We Happy Few, in this version of history, Germany was able to occupy Britain during WW2. Maybe. Part of the pharmacological wonder that is the pill joy is the memory starts to go a bit as the wetware is fried like bacon. Who wants to remember this stuff anyway? So everyone in WHF is a unreliable narrator. Anyway, someone, probably Z-Germans, or native working with Z-Germans, came along to Wellington Wells and demanded they give them their children, ship them off somewhere so the pop wouldn't resist. Which is a real thing that happened to a lot of Polish people. In Brave New World and Equilibrium, it's a pretty standard WW3 scenario. You know the old saying, I don't know what WW3 will be fought with, but WW4 will be fought with sticks and stones? Only replace fighting with everyone is so stoned we don't do that again. In Hayes and the webcomic Slugly Freelance, during the Paradise arc, the pharmacological revolution comes about due to the war of corporations. But like I said earlier, sometimes that's how it comes about. Other times, humans adopt the use of lithium or something similar for pharmacological use before the 50s. Like in the world of Copper Eyes, the drug, LSTM, being discovered in the 20s, and it, or hopefully an updated version because, while delicious, I wouldn't trust a cake recipe from the 20s, is still used to this day. Another example is from the Sliders episode Just Say Yes, where Sigmund Freud gives up his studies on psychology upon studying the effects of lithium, thus changing the world's history to a medicated paradise.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland.
Technology. It's on a 10. It's a world where the populace is under some form of medication that removes the ills of humanity from humanity. In We Happy Few and Sluggy Freelance, it's the ability to feel anything other than happiness and the loss of painful memories. Isn't that wonderful? In Hayes, the units of the Mattel Corp take substance nectar from auto-injectors in their armor, same as the auto-injectors seen in Sliders, making soldiers confident in their actions without personal icky feelings getting in the way. While Prosium 2 and the many drugs in THX 1138 removes all emotions from the afflicted. Now, while no one should not take their state-issued medication, there's always going to be a few downers who will try. That's why it's in the water. Literally in the case of WHF, during the last days of Wellington Wells' isolation, their joy was being watered down. Since no one pill would have the same effect as it used to, a mixture was added to the water. In Slugly Freelance, 4U City piped free, heavily addictive, mood-elevating coffee into all residential housing. So addictive was it that disturbing the supply sparked a revolution. In a similar vein, Mantel Corp soldiers are encouraged not to drink beer or etc. after completing a mission, but more healthy nectar. An offshoot of using pharmaceuticals to remove emotions is super peyote. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Big day today.
You say that every morning.
Well, today I mean it.
Okay, it's a bit more than that. In Maniacs, the ABC drug cocktail allows users to revisit past trauma to move past it. or to be guided on a hallucination to confront aspects of their mind deemed unfavorable. In the three stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, K&D, and Chu Z work in a similar vein if you ignore all that stuff about mental health. It's just about tripping out on Mars, because Mars is a developing nation without a lot to do for the people living there.
That's for making me come to Mars. You know how much I hate this fucking planet.
Now, to make an omelet, you need to break some eggs. Sometimes, through no fault of the pharmacracy, things can go a bit tiny nudge towards sideways. Like the extreme case in Quarantine or the planet Miranda from Firefly. In an attempt to correct human behavior into something a bit more passive, it swung the other way, creating a criminal population of Chemo City.
Omnicorp decides to release a drug into the water supply to calm everyone down and suppress criminal thoughts. Well, that backfires, and instead of calming people, it turns everyone psycho, causing half the population to, and I quote the manual, become crazed, violent killer lunatics intent on killing anyone who is not a crazed, violent killer lunatic.
Or Reavers.
It's the Pax. The G23 Paxilon hydrochloride that we added to the air process. I have to be quick. About 0.1% of the population had the opposite reaction to the Pax. Their aggressor response increased beyond madness. They have become... well, they've killed most of us. And not just killed. They've done things.
Reavers.
To the much more mundane side effect of low STM, making the population of that world colorblind. Aesthetic. Oh god, my head. Where was I? Alright, emotional castration through meds. Comes in a few flavors. If we're talking just straight up no emotion, the aesthetic is very 1984. The book, not the actual year. Well.
No pattern.
There is no pattern.
I am vulnerable, but I am not stupid.
I'm vulnerable, but I'm not stupid.
Best example being Equilibrium and THX, where they're just not hiding the fascism, with even having kids as narcs. I mean, also that flag. In THX, it's actually somehow worse than in Equilibrium. At least that world had fire coats and some touches. That cereal looks delicious. In THX, you're not even allowed to have hair, and everyone's rocking that bag chic. While For You City was mostly drugging the populace happy, it did use the totalitarian look by reducing people to numbers and wearing jumpsuits. It could honestly be seen as a dark reflection of cyberprep, with efficiency being pressed way out of control, adding absolute authority to the state, everyone being separatized, which feeds back into itself. It's not enough just to eliminate the ability to feel emotions. You have to remove the things that make us feel. The history of it all, where people will start asking questions. It's a rare time when everything looks greener on the other side of the fence is a good thing. Nothing authorities hate more than an informed populace. Plus, what that Mook and Hayes said was correct.
Because everything you feel, all these emotions like love, hate, joy, misery, all of it, they're just a series of chemical compounds and electrical impulses in your brain.
For better or worse, mostly worse, we are computers. With sensory input, even with the meds doing their work, the smell of a book or perfume, the texture of a paint against fingers, the sound of music.
With a sound of music.
It's good to be back. Can undo or begin to undo the hard work. Now, if we're just going with happy Jews, it's pretty contemporary, with really depending on when it takes place. On our personal recommendation, I would go with something 1960s to 1980s, for this. That being said, there are some similarities that do cross the board. One, there's always some mook preaching the good word of pharmacracy. For THX and Equilibrium, they stay pretty close to their 1984 roots, with a pseudo-religious government figure, Father, and OMM000, in both cases not being or no longer being a real person. In Equilibrium's case, being a reference to Orwell's inspiration to Big Brother, or at least his face. Big Brother was based off Brennet, a kindly looking old man on a billboard for a correspondence course, offering guidance and support to would-be students with the phrase, "Let me be your father." After Brennet's death, his son took over the company and the posters were replaced with his picture. He looked a bit more imposing and stern in contrast to his father's kindly demeanor, with a text that read, "Let me be your big brother." Uncle Jack, noticing a trend. From We Have a Few. While not in charge, he is the face of the town, preaching the good word of joy. By the same token, we have your new walking nightmare, Lulu from Copper Eyes. A fun face for kids of all ages, promoting loveless TM. Not kidding, in Copper Eyes, they star him young and indoctrinate him fast. 2. Miss a Day, Break the Masquerade. Really hoping this ain't a shocker, but you can't keep a population snowed on meds indefinitely. Eventually, someone will miss a day, which happens enough that it's a trope. By no malice or forethought, they just don't take their meds and it starts a revolution. 3. Desensitized to violence. Yeah, one of the darker aspects of this genre is since you can't feel fear or hate anymore, doesn't mean you can't still inflict damage on others. They just don't register it. This goes from Equilibrium's extremely armed forces not seeing the oxymoron statement they have cured war while slaughtering insurgents. Or the almost zombie-like feral nature of wellies coming after a downer, or musicians. 4. Few to no kids. A good way to keep the population under control is to control the amount of population. And well, since we're drugging them anyway, congratulations, we finally have free contraception. Yeah, weird juxtaposition. While love and emotion bonding is frowned upon in like Copper Eyes or Brave New World, sex is encouraged. Not saying people shouldn't or can't separate those two things, but what lonely ass scientist was fronting that research? Or you have the opposite side of the spectrum where unless state mandated, all conjugal interaction is outlawed. Man, you think drugged out people would be more live and let live.
Yeah, baby.
Where did Pharmapunk start? Fahrenheit 451, 1984, Brave New World. But only because those were the inspirations for Equilibrium. Yeah, Equilibrium got the ball rolling. It's like the Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. While better examples of Dieselpunk certainly existed, it put this kind of story on the popular zeitgeist. And for all the shit it gets, and as an ex-Channel Awesome faithful, it got a lot of well-deserved shit.
Waking up from a nightmare for the very first time, Preston notices rain on the covered windows. He proceeds to rip off the covering and embrace the rainbow-covered city. Symbolism!
It is, in my opinion, the prototypical Pharmapunk story. Is it the best? No. As for the name, this image right here. In fact, if you Google Pharmapunk, this is more than likely the only thing you're going to get. If the subject matter hasn't clued you in, we are way off the beaten path here, punks.
I'm so f***ing high right now.
My recommendations. Ah, man, this is going to be hard. Equilibrium, the schlocky movie with a brain. I mean, does it? What does Equilibrium really have to say? Totalitarianism bad, emotions good, gun cutter ridiculous, but freaking awesome.
Ammo cartridges come out of Preston's arm. What the hell? Jesus, Preston is clobbering this extended hallway with guards behind every pillar. This is what Steven Seagal sees in his wet dream, right?
Kind of speaks to my problem with dystopian totalitarian stories. It's so busy being a cautionary tale, it's boring, until Bale opens up a hearty can of whoop-ass.
King Diamond's army doth fight with valor and art opening a can of yon whoop-ass upon their foes.
That becomes ridiculous with inverse ninja law.
Ninja, vanish!
Copper Eyes. I'm very lucky going to take this one on and off this section multiple times before posting because, man, this one frustrates me. Good stuff out of the way first. I like the art. Reminds me of a more dynamic, questionable content. With several characters being family, I don't get confused on who is who. More impressive as gray colored character world design is a plot point. And it's interesting to see a world where love is outlawed but not sex. Because no, we kind of need that to perpetuate the species. And if I may speak to the romantic in me I keep locked up in a dark corner, even fleeting, humans need some kind of interaction. But, okay, I get color theory and living in a gray pre-Wizard of Oz world. It's like a plot point. The cast is all part of the Alphabet Mafia. Color is a big point in showing that. No, don't care. No way. No way anyone would willingly give up color. The safety concerns, the industries of the strip wouldn't exist anymore. You'd be like, no, go back and fix this. For some reason, we're cool with the whole no love thing, but no, go back and fix the color thing. It just stretches my credulity into a pretzel, especially how it really didn't change the course of history as much as it really should have. Also, the pill is supposed to basically make a world of apathetic sociopaths. I'm convinced the creator has never seen one before. Only one character kind of fits that description, but really doesn't. Interesting concept, needs a bit of work, but give it some time maybe. The punkness of Pharmapunk. It's a little strange that an act of rebellion is not taking drugs, but that's the point.
Staying off drugs won't hurt you people. There's nothing dangerous about getting low. So don't listen to the lies of the government and the pharmaceutical conglomerates.
It reminds me of an article I was tagged in a while back. 2 punk parents who lost the plot, railing against their own son who to them became an establishment Wilson, getting a shocker high school diploma, despite them trying their damnedest to get him to drop out and join a punk band like they did at his age. Missing, it's not about disturbing the peace just to disturb the peace. Well, going your own way. If society tells you to do something and you know that's not for you, you plant your feet and you tell society to move. And then, if need be, if the whole world's gotta burn, then burn that mother down. Even if one must become the enemy of happiness as well as totalitarianism. Punk knows where they have to stand.
Yeah, people are people because they're miserable bastards.
How do I feel about Pharmapunk? It works. It's not my favorite punk genre I've covered, but I would be down to revisit it again. Coming out of an opioid epidemic into a new recession, I can definitely see the seductive nature of popping pills slipping into oblivion. Ironically, that's kind of the issue I have with Pharmapunk. Little to no example of the protag being seduced back into oblivion, or that someone who their whole life never had emotions gets sideswiped by the bad ones, freaked out enough for a momentary contemplation of going back on the meds after feeling true hate or anger for the first time.
Clean? No, that's dangerous.
Not really.
Yeah, sure it is. Look, people die without their prescriptions, okay? Look, I need medicine. I'm actually scared. So this is what it's like?
You've never been scared before?
Not like this. When you're clean, does everything feel so real?
Sliders touches on this for like a second, and riffs of comes to temptation, but only after thinking he had doomed the world for convoluted reasons, and in the end more protecting the world from himself than succumbing to temptation. If Pharmapunk had more of that, fight for the human condition, that all the great parts of emotions are better than the drawbacks, I'd be more into it, but it's always more, totalitarianism bad, emotions and free will, expression good, obvious fucking things. If there was more meat to it, I might be into it.
You have to stop taking your joy. Take it from Jack Worthy. It's me. You all have to stop. You all have to stop. Stop. Stop it. But you won't, will you? You won't.
Why do emotions make people dumb? Not going into the day-to-day of this, but some of you need to practice controlling your amygdala, and it shows. Be a bit more Hero Yui out there.
Now retrain him at once. The humane feeling of kindness is unnecessary for our weapon.
No, I mean, why do people get the full brunt of emotions, they suddenly forget how their society works? Bale started pulling the exact same crap he busted Sean Bean for. Darcy goes after a guy he knows can't feel the same emotions he does. I'll give either kind of a pass, but damn it, Sliders, you guys are not new to the World Tour. This is year 4 for a few of you. Come on. Not like a lack of drugs destroys your memories. In fact, in most examples here, it goes the reverse. How the hell did you hide that dog, Cleric? That keeps you up at nights. Put your answers down in the comments and get a discussion going. Well, this has been What's Up, Punks. Till next time, maybe stick to filtered water. You never know what they're pumping into your pipes. Future tech could look incredibly mundane to those that see it every day. And let the dead in. Treat them well and not like livestock. But keep on being a no-good, dirty punk. You know it, you love it, here's the spiel, let's do it. Hit subscribe to be my subscriber. Hit the bell to get notifications, and hit like to appease the algorithm gods. All fear and praise. Another whatever YouTubes, I'm probably not going to make any money off these videos, so be so kind. Check out the GoFundMe and Patreon. links in the description.